Hello everyone, welcome to the TriStar Gym channel. Today's episode we are looking at how to grapple a bigger, stronger opponent, certain tactics that will help you when you're facing a bigger, stronger opponent. Here's me shooting in on a single leg. I have a nice high single leg. I'm going to run the pipe, bring my opponent down to the mat. Now my opponent's about 220 pounds, over 6 feet tall. He's probably 6'1", 6'2", very big, strong guy. Here's me passing the guard. And when you're holding a bigger, stronger guy down on the mat, one very important component you see me doing here, if you do not have the underhook under the arm, you absolutely must underhook the leg. If you do not underhook the leg against a bigger, stronger opponent, it'll be very easy for him to just bench press you off and shrug you off, and then maybe grab a single leg or double leg and bring you down to the mat, okay, get on top of you. I absolutely must block the inside of his leg. I'm going to trap his knee. I'm driving forward here, and very important, look here, I'm on my toes. I would never put my knees down on the ground against a bigger, stronger opponent. He will very easily just turn to his knees, okay? So I do not want him turning to his knees and grabbing onto my legs, getting to his underhook, okay? So let's see how I play this out here. I'm on my toes here. Look how I'm driving with my right foot. I'm driving with my right foot. All my weight is driving forward, and he's still trying to get to his underhook. You could see that his underhook right here, okay? If I were to lose my underhook in his leg here, he would easily grab my a single leg or double leg, okay? He'll transition to his knees and start driving into a double. Watch how I stop him from getting to his knees. I'm maintaining my underhook with my right arm between his legs, and now I'm going to be lifting his elbow up, and I'm going to transfer to north-south. Now, once I transfer to north-south, I can take the back, or here you're going to see me work a nice little Kimura here. This Kimura move can be done on people from all sizes, of course. The Kimura doesn't really differentiate from your body type, but that side control I was showing you with the underhook in the leg is very typical to a much bigger opponent. Here's the Kimura. Real nice little important detail when it comes to Kimura. Get your heel inside the armpit. Okay, really important. You can see that my leg, my whole leg is creating a barrier between both his arms. Okay, so that's one arm here. Here's his other arm. It's being Kimura'd. But that leg here, that leg is a barrier between the two. It makes it very difficult for him to defend. But most importantly, I have my right heel inside his armpit. It makes for a very, very strong Kimura grip. Okay, I think I'm going to show that again. I think, yes, there it is. Here's me controlling his arms. I'm going to grab the Kimura. Once I grab the Kimura, I want to put my foot, right there it is, my foot sneaking into the elbow, under the armpit, separating his arms, and it's going to make for a very strong Kimura. Even a bigger, stronger opponent will not be able to resist. Now I'm allowing the big man to get on top here. Let's see what he can do. My first and most important priority is never to allow him to control my ankles. A big, strong guy, if he controls your ankles, he'll start doing toreando, he'll start leg dragging, and if he's leg dragging and doing toreando, you're going to be fighting hard to regard, okay? So watch here. Look how I circle my feet. Real simple stuff. And now look, I'm hiding my feet behind his knees. He cannot toreando me. He cannot pressure pass me. I'm hiding those ankles. I do not want to give him control of those ankles. And there it is. My ankles are back on his feet. They're playing a little cat and mouse game here. I really don't want him to. There it is. Look, he's controlling my ankles. Let's see what I do. There it is. I'm circling my feet out. I'm not allowing him to grip my ankles. My next video will probably be on how to break grips. Okay, really important stuff. When you're on the bottom, you do not want to give your partner the grips that he wants. And here's my next little lesson here. I love to invert the guard on a big man. Why do I love to invert the guard on a bigger man? Well, I'll tell you the number one advantage for the smaller guy is that you can transition from one position to the next a lot more often and a lot faster than a bigger man. Now, a bigger man can be just as fast, but he could not change directions back and forth as fast as a little guy can. Now, when you invert the guard, the counter to the inverted guard, okay, there's many counters. One of the most popular counters is for him to get to this side of my body. Now, that big man will not get to that side of my body very quickly. The other common counter is for him to pin my ankles down to the ground, okay? I'm not going to allow him to do that. He's going to be too slow. I'm going to be able to transition immediately here. Watch, as he tries to grab my ankles here, I'm not going to allow him to grab my ankles. I'm going to hide my ankle behind his back. I'm in K guard. I've brought his hip down to the ground. The inverted guard is just such a great guard to use against a bigger, stronger opponent. It's a phenomenal guard. They can't move around you very easily. It's a very difficult guard for them to deal with. I'm a big fan of the inverted guard. It works so well against bigger opponents. And of course, the most powerful submission in Jiu-jitsu. I always tell you guys, my favorite submission, the most powerful submission, not my favorite submission, excuse me, the most powerful submission. And what do I mean by most powerful? The inside heel hook will make a bigger, stronger, more athletic opponent easy to tap. Okay, the leg lock is such a powerful submission. If you guys don't study leg locks, you're hurting your jiu-jitsu. Your jiu-jitsu is inherently weaker. In my opinion, the leg lock must be studied by the entire jiu-jitsu community. We need to take the leg lock to the next level as a community. Why? Because that's how we're going to beat every other martial art. Okay, the ankle is such a weak and brittle bone. There are hundreds of bones in the foot, and they're small, weak bones, and you can tap out a bigger, stronger, athletic guy easily with a heel hook. Okay, so now we're back up to our feet here. I'm going to be probably looking for some tie-ups here, different various tie-ups that I'm going to use. And I'm not going to be covering too much of the wrestling here, but in this move, from what I remember, what I'm hitting next here is a very complicated move. I'm hitting a scissor on the ankle. This is a very advanced move. It's a move I don't really teach too much because I've showed it to a few black belts. I've showed it to a few pros, and even they're having trouble learning this move. So it's not really a move I want to get too detailed on. It's a move I picked up watching Kendall Cross wrestle in the Olympics, and it's a move I actually do quite a bit. I do it actually very often, and if you guys watch my videos, you've seen me do it before. I just don't really teach it too often because it's such a difficult move to hit. You know, I find it quite easy, but I've taught it many times, and just people, I don't seem to be able to hear it. Here it comes, ankle scissor. And I learned it just by watching Kendall Cross. I mean, if you guys see this and pick it up, if you guys can pick it up, go ahead, go for it. Enjoy this move if you guys can pick it up and do it. But I won't go over too many details because it's just it's one of those hard to teach moves. One of the few moves in my career that I found a lot of trouble teaching. Here it is. I'm going to change level. Why do I like this move against a bigger man? Same thing. He cannot level change at my speed. I'm smaller than he is, right? I can go from one direction to the next before he can level change and sprawl and defend that ankle. I'll be wrapping him up and driving him forward and bringing him down to the mat. Now here's my opponent on the bottom here. You could see him. Watch this. He's about to grab my wrist here. If you see his right hand, look at this right here. Keep your eyes in this area right here. As soon as he grabs my wrist, again, he's bigger, he's stronger. As soon as he grabs my wrist, watch what I'm going to do. I'm driving my head inside his rib cage, and I'm going to start the lawnmower. Watch this. We call this starting the lawnmower. I'm going to pull my arm out. I will not allow this guy to control my wrist. If he controls my wrist, he's going to Kimura me and throw me right over. And here's the most secure submission, okay? The king of all submissions. The inside heel hook is the most powerful, meaning that you will get a bigger, stronger, more athletic guy to give up, yes, but it is less secure than the rear naked choke. If I had unlimited time and you gave me a submission of choice, I would take the back attack. It's a lot harder to escape the back mount than it is for you to escape my inside heel hook, especially when it's late in the mat. It's very slippery. It's harder to heel hook people, but if you have the back is much harder to get away from, even though it's not as powerful as of a submission. Now, the rear naked choke is my most secure submission. Much easier to sub a big strong guy from the back mount than it is from the mount. So if I was on top of my opponent here, he would probably just bench press me off, throw me off him. It would be very hard to mount. Very hard to mount these individuals. It's also very hard to darce them or anaconda them, or put them in a bicep choke or arm triangle choke, you know, katakatami, because their arms are so strong. They're very hard to manipulate. They're also very hard to armbar. Bigger, stronger opponents are harder to armbar. Their arms are much more coordinated. They're much more agile, whereas their feet are more clumsy, easier to manipulate, and of course the neck is very vulnerable. So that's why when I'm fighting a bigger, stronger opponent, I am usually looking for leg locks and rear naked choke. It is a lot harder for my opponent to escape the back mount than it is for him to escape the mount. Now here my opponent is attacking my ankle. Watch what I'm going to do here. I'm going to defend my ankle. I'm going to do the running escape here. This is probably the most secure escape, even though it gives him the chance to get to his feet. Okay, it's not one of those leg lock defenses that pins the guy on the bottom where you're kind of leg lock defending and passing the guard. That's a leg lock pass that will allow him back to his feet. Why did I use the running man escape? Because I absolutely do not want him to put the squeeze on my leg. He's a big, strong guy. If he puts the squeeze on my leg, he will tap me out. Now here's some more inverted guard action. I absolutely love the inverted guard. It deflects the weight of my opponent, makes it very easy for me to shrink back to safety. Here we are back up on our feet, and that is the end of the round. Here is a few little highlights. Inverted guard is a major plus against a bigger opponent. The inverted guard, if you have not mastered it, you must study the inverted guard. Here's the inside heel hook. I will get any size man to tap to the inside heel hook. It is the most powerful hold, in my opinion, in jiu-jitsu. Here's the single leg. Never allowing my opponent to grab my neck when I shoot a single leg. I rarely shoot double legs on big, strong opponents that are much bigger and stronger than me. Never allow him to capture your ankles. Look how I'm always hiding my ankles and always pummeling my ankles free from his grips. If you're on top and you see him grabbing a Kimura, do not try any fancy counters. Rip your arm out and start passing the guard. Here's the back control. This is the most secure position, in my opinion, against a bigger, stronger man. He cannot just throw you off him. He cannot just bench press you off him. And the most secure finish is the rear naked choke. One of my favorite finishes here. Now, if I was taking my opponent's top, if I was taking the top position here, and I were to mount him and try to armbar him or try to even guillotine him, it would be very difficult. He'll be able to pry my hands free. The number one submission and position against a bigger man is to take the back. It is very difficult for them to use their size and strength. If you know the details to the choke, you know that this is the best way, the most secure way to finish it. All right, guys, I hope you enjoyed that video. Please like, share, and comment, and I'll see you all in the next episode. Thank you.
Bonjour, mon nom est Marc-Élie Toussaint, je suis entraîneur de sprint depuis 23 ans. Je travaille au niveau de la vitesse avec Georges Saint-Pierre depuis 4 ans. Je viens de tester le Tim Tam, c'est le meilleur instrument au niveau du relâchement musculaire que j'ai testé de toute ma carrière. Je le recommande à tous.
When you train a lot, you get tight. The best way to loose up your muscle is the Tim Tam. Hi, I'm Georges Saint-Pierre. I'm using the Tim Tam machine after my training to help me with my recovery.